Road to Stanley, DJ Bean, Pete Blackburn. Panthers take game one over the Leafs in Toronto. Is it too soon to discuss whether they might be going on a run?
I think it is. I don't want to overreact too much to a one game sample. I think that there are some areas of concern if you're the Maple Leafs. Number one, you're losing the goaltending battle. Sergei Bobrovsky looked really good in game one, and Ilya Samsonov, not so much. And the net front defense in front of Samsonov, not great either. Been really impressed by the Panthers' forecheck carrying over, but I'm not going to overreact to a one-game sample. This Leafs team had some magic in the first round. Who's to say they're not going to have some magic here? So, I think that the Panthers may have proven that it's not a one-round fluke in that game one against Toronto. Like they look like a good team that's only getting stronger as we go. And I was really impressed by Matthew Tkachuk. He's just like one of the best players in the league, and he does it in such like a non-sexy way. He does everything right, and he's super annoying, great playoff player. So I think the Panthers have a real shot, but I'm not ready to say that like they're on a run and they're going to win this series.
Wouldn't surprise me at all if they made a deep run. They remind me so much right now of the 2003 Ducks, where the first round is spent saying, what are they doing here? And then by the time they get to the second round, they're a little settled down. They just looked like a team in control in game one of that Leafs series. And you mentioned the goaltending. Sergei Bobrovsky wasn't good against the Bruins particularly. He didn't really need to be. The Bruins were kind of falling apart, and the Panthers were figuring themselves out. If we get good Bob from here on out, then they have the goaltending. If one team is an injury away from falling apart, it is the Panthers, just because Matthew Tkachuk is doing absolutely everything. He has 14 points in 8 games, but I look at this team in this series and say, I'll pick right now them to beat the Leafs in this series. They seem like they've grown up in pretty quick fashion from their disappointing finish last year. So give me the Panthers to make a run. How about the Kraken holding off 4 goals from Joe Pavelski in his return to the Stars? They still end up winning in overtime to Seattle. What did you learn from game one of this series?
I think my main takeaway is the pace of this series, because the pace of that game was incredible. We know that the Kraken play a pretty high intensity brand of hockey with their forechecking, how well they skate. I was impressed by Dallas, honestly, in their ability to move through the neutral zone. I thought they had a lot of high-speed entries into the offensive zone. I was just more taken aback that they weren't able to put more on Seattle in terms of an offensive output. All 4 goals come from Pavelski, just unbelievable tip master. But like, you look at that game, Philip Grubauer was not good. He was not good whatsoever, and like the rebounds that he gave up, they just weren't in the right positions. Throw everything on net if you're the Dallas Stars in game 2, because 1, Pavelski might tip it in ridiculous fashion and put it in the back of the net. 2, you might get a juicy rebound from Philip Grubauer if he plays the same way that he did in game 1. But I think this is going to be an incredibly intense, high-paced, very fun series that might go the distance.
You are right. It wasn't just tips from Joe Pavelski. It was just basically be in front of the net, and you're either going to tip it or you're going to get a rebound that you're going to bury, and Joe Pavelski was able to score every which way. For me, it's that this is going to be a series. If Dallas had won that game in overtime last night, I think that would have popped the Kraken bubble. They just had a long series, knocking off the defending Stanley Cup champs. If any team should be happy to be here in their second year, it should be the Kraken, but that they were able to withstand Joe Pavelski returning from that really, really scary hit, concussion, whatever you want to call it, scoring 4 goals, and you still end up taking them down in overtime when you're supposed to be the team that's exhausted. I think this is actually going to be a real series. Who is your Stanley standout from last night?
My Stanley standout is that tandem in the Toronto crowd wearing the Florida Panthers jersey after they were spotted in the Toronto crowd wearing the Tampa Bay Lightning jersey. Just, if they're not plants, we have to couch it with like maybe they're plants as an online gimmick or a broadcast gimmick or something. If they are legitimately fans that wear just the opponent's jersey to every Maple Leafs game and they have like season tickets and they only just hate the Leafs, all-time haters, Hall of Fame haters. I love that tandem. it just maybe the most expensive comedy bit in sports in North America to commit to that on an 82 game basis plus playoffs. I love those two. I hope they keep it up. I hope the Maple Leafs advance to the next round so they can continue hating in different forms. Just absolutely love them.
I'm pretty sure they are what you think they are, because there are pictures of them in other uniforms too. They were wearing Coyotes uniforms when the Coyotes were playing in Toronto. So I think they truly do have season tickets just to go and mess with Leafs fans, which I would say Leafs fans existing is them being messed with enough. But hey, if you want to toss more on top of that, who am I to judge you? My Stanley standout is Philip Grubauer, because he did stop 2 shots from Joe Pavelski, and honestly, the way he was going and the way Pavelski was going, who would think that would happen? So congratulations to Philip Grubauer. Plus he got a win out of it as well. All right, tonight, game 1, Oilmen, Vegas Golden Knights, McDavid, Eichel. Big one. Who do you think takes game 1, and what do you think happens in this series? Because I'll tell you this, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the Nuge, had 8 assists against Vegas this season. I think that second line with Hyman is going to cook. You can put Pietrangelo on the McDavid line, try to shut them down all you want. You know, the Oilers, offensively at least, can beat you more than one way.
Yeah, you can't pay me to make a prediction at any point in this series, because I just expect it to be full chaos. The Oilers are going to find a way to spice things up. I think Vegas is one of those teams that kind of does that sometimes as well. So I am strapping in, and I'm just going to let it take me for a ride.
All right, that's Pete Blackburn, DJ Bean. This has been The Road to Stanley.